Yeah.
I've got.
Okay, they can join me right here.
Join you.
You can join me here, and I'll fill you in on the rest. Okay, you ever heard of George Washington? Yeah, how about Ben Franklin?
If I did, I can't remember.
Yeah, how about Sam Adams?
Sam Adams.
There's a beer after him. There's a beer named after him. How about John Hancock? Okay, how about Paul Revere? How about Wyatt Earp? Well, you got some homework, buddy. They were all volunteer firefighters. All those guys I mentioned. Famous, a lot of famous people put out fires. That was their third or fourth job. All right, and here's a picture that shows the guys pulling their equipment to the fire. Okay, just like this truck here. Okay, remember we talked about that. Let's see, there's about 12 guys on that pulling that to the fire. So what they did when they got to the fire, okay, now the one on the other side folds down just like this. So you have 9 or 10 people on each side. Okay, first you got to get your water going to it. Remember I talked about the bucket brigade? Okay, so those people have to hurry, get some water into this thing. So once they got some water, then they start pumping. Alright, so you can picture that. Okay. So as fast as they can pump. So the water goes in the back, and see where the hose is hooked on right here? And water comes out there. So you have pumping people, you got bucket people, and you have hose people. Okay, stand back up. Get you in the head. What's this? What's that tell people?
There's a fire.
Right, so what are they supposed to do? Stay right there and don't move for the fire trucks?
Get out of the way.
Right, get out of the way.
Kind of like sirens and lights nowadays.
Exactly. They didn't have sirens and lights, so that was their warning device. Okay, now the big black hose. See that? Okay, that's called a hard suction head. That's real stiff rubber. Okay, if they were lucky, they would be close. If the fire's here and they have a, you know what a pond is, or a stream. Okay. Maybe they were lucky. They were close to a water source. They pull that hard suction hose out of the hole. See where this one with the eye and these holes in place, so they fall out on the way. So the strainer, they put that down into the water. Okay, and they do their pumping. Okay, so that's called drafting. Sucking water through that hose. Okay. So that will let water. Okay, there's a drag. Okay, I'm gonna turn the heaters down a minute. She's got to crank it down. So that will suck up water, but not fish or rocks or leaves or sticks. Okay, because you don't want that in your pump. That's going to jam up your pump. Okay, so this is the old days. This is the Ben Franklin and George Washington times. Okay, so we're going to come over here and look at a horse drawn. So now before we get to this, in the old days when you bought a house and you bought insurance and you had to display your insurance markers, look behind you. Okay, so if you bought insurance with Hartford, you had to display that so people could see it. Okay, the volunteer firefighters were paid by the insurance companies to put out fires. Okay, so hopefully the right people would come, they would see their sign, They knew they'd be paid, put out the fire, life is good. If it was the wrong people, they'd wave goodbye to you as your house is burning to the ground. Because they knew they wouldn't be paid. So that was pretty bad, right? Okay. Just want to clarify that. So, when the steamer was invented, and Cincinnati, Ohio was the first paid fire department. That was 1853. And Cincinnati lumber mill burned to the ground while the volunteers were fighting each other over whose territory it was. So people in Cincinnati said, and other things had happened before that, so they were really disgusted. So this was being developed in secrecy. So they said, okay, we need to bring out our secret weapon here and end our whole sections of our town burning to the ground. So again, that was 1853. You know what steam is?
Yeah, it looks a lot like smoke, but
And what's it come from?
it comes from hot water.
Right, exactly. So, steamer, so the big black part, that's a boiler that heats water. Water makes steam. Steam powers the pistons that power our pump. So we don't have 20 people doing this anymore. We have 3 firefighters to operate this, and then this is pulled by 3 horses. Okay, this weighs 9,000 pounds. Okay, so when I look at these pictures, these are really cool. We think the pictures are from Cincinnati. I'm not really sure, but the horses lived in the back, and remember I talked about the horse stall doors. Okay, so there were 10 horses that lived here in 1908. So the horses were trained. When the gong rang, the doors opened, and they knew what vehicle they were going to pull. They knew what place they were going to take by their training. Okay, so they would come out, and when the driver gets in his seat and he fastens his seat belt, fire apparatus had seat belts 100 years before cars. Okay, now it wasn't a little nice buckle, click, click, like we have nowadays. It's probably just a rope, something to keep him in the seat. But anyhow, he fastened the seat belt, he pulled the cord, harnesses and collars that were suspended from the ceiling, dropped down on the horse's backs. Okay? You know what harnesses and collars are?
Yeah.
Okay. That's how we steer the horse, right? Okay. So once they got hitched up, and away they went. Sometimes it took them 30 seconds or less to get hitched up. It was real fast. What's that look like?
A bell.
Was that their warning device?
Yeah.
Yep. That's all they had. So hopefully between that and the horses making noise and the men, that would get people out of the way, right? Exactly.